Hi, everybody. Thank you for your patience while I find my preamble, which I didn't organize very well tonight. Do you have your preamble? No. Okay. All right. Sorry. Oh, God. What is this? There we go. All right. Good evening. My name is Tara Rigby, and I'm the chair of the Kenora Planning Advisory Committee. This is a regular meeting of the Planning Advisory Committee for the May the 15th of 2024. As we gather, we recognize that we're on Treaty 3 lands with their steep and rich Indigenous history and home to many First Nations and Métis people today. We continue to be thankful for the partnerships with Indigenous people. We give thanks for the many blessings we enjoy in the city of Kenora. We seek wisdom in our minds, clearness in our thinking, truth in our speaking, and always love in our hearts. Let these principles guide us in our decision making. Prior to the calling the meeting to order, I just want to make sure that all members of the public understand that you should send a private message to the Secretary Treasurer and inform them of your legal name and mailing address so it can be entered into the meeting records. Please ensure your microphone is on mute and be mindful of what's visible to the public and your surroundings. Please note that this meeting is being recorded, and by continuing to be in the meeting, you are consenting to be recorded. Tap leave meeting to opt out and exit the session. When it's time for public comments, I'll address the participant by the name that was recorded with the Secretary Treasurer at the start of this virtual PAC meeting. Once your name has been called, please then unmute your microphone or telephone. All persons addressing the committee shall state their full name and mailing address and must direct their comments through myself, the chair. Decisions will be mailed or emailed to the applicant agent and to all other interested parties who provided their mailing address and or email address to the Secretary Treasurer. The notice of appeal for a minor variance application must be filed with the Secretary Treasurer within 20 days of the making of the decision. The notice of appeal for a land division application must be filed with the Secretary Treasurer within 20 days of the mailing of the notice. Other than the applicant, only a specified person or public body as defined in section 1, subsection 1 of the Planning Act has the ability to appeal a decision made by the Kenora Planning Advisory Committee to the Ontario Land Tribunal. The Secretary Treasurer of the Kenora Planning Advisory Committee is Melissa Shaw. The Director of Building and Planning is Janice Bacalo. And the Associate Planner is Tara
Bader.
Bader. Sorry, thank you,
Okay.
and welcome again. All right, so this meeting has been called to order. Are there any additions to the agenda?
No additions.
All right, any declaration of interest by a member for this meeting or at a meeting at which a member was not present? No, I see none. Okay, approval of minutes for the regular meeting held on April 17th of 2024. Any questions or comments? No. Moved by Robert, seconded by Chris. All in favor? That's carried. Correspondence relating to applications before the committee.
Before the meeting this evening, we did receive a survey sketch to support application D10-2407 Reynolds, and that was provided by the agent, Ms. Laura Wheatley. It has been circulated to members, and I can certainly share screen at the time that the agent does make presentation to ensure all members and members of the public have a chance to review.
Okay. Any correspondence relating to applications? Any other correspondence?
I have none.
Okay, so our first application is an application for minor variance, D13-2404 LBE. And is there anybody who wishes to speak to this application?
Yeah, I'd like to have, I guess, Cal or Ray speak on my behalf, please.
Ray, are you able to share screen? Perfect.
Great. Hi, everybody. My name is Calvin Brook. I am a planner and also the architect working on behalf of Grand Council Treaty 3 for their new headquarters in Kenora. And I wanted to thank you for consideration of this application for a minor variance, which relates to a request for an increase in height of 2 meters for this 3-story office building. Ray, if you can go to the next slide. So just a brief overview of the project itself, which has received site plan control approval and is intended to commence construction this summer. And once this, hopefully the minor variance is approved, we would be applying for building permit in the coming months. It is a 3-story administrative headquarters for Grand Council Treaty 3 of approximately 25,000 square feet. As you can see in this image, with an associated accessory building of 2 stories. Next slide, please. And this is just showing the site, which is just south of 9th Street North, and will be accessed by a new road that is going to start construction soon and will be finished by the fall. And if we look at the next image, you can see on those parcels, which is kind of on a gently sloping site. At the top of the site is the location of the new building. And yeah, Ray is just pointing out, I think with his cursor, that new road access that is joining 9th Street North with Main Street North. And then we will have a driveway off of that to access the parking lot adjacent to the new headquarters, as well as a secondary kind of overflow parking lot further to the north end of the site. Next slide, please. These are some images, other images of the project. The one on the top left would be, I guess, as you were coming up the driveway from the on the south side of the building, and then just other viewpoints of the building kind of circulating around the site. There's a kind of forested area on the hillside, which will be protected and remain intact. And a lot of emphasis on landscaping to be enhanced and protected throughout the site. Next, please. So this application for the minor variance is really the current zoning allows for 11 meters height, which translates into approximately 12 feet floor to floor for the 3 stories. Because we have some large open areas in this building with a lot of free span spaces, which requires deeper beams, we need more than 12 feet on some of these floors. And when you think about the actual clear height with when you add the structure and the mechanical systems, we were getting very tight, 8 foot, 8.5 foot ceilings, which was inappropriate for this kind of space. So this is why we're asking for the additional 2 meters for the office building in order to have reasonable clearances for the floors in the building. And in terms of impact, we think that this kind of minor shift in height will, from a kind of impact to the adjacent residential properties, which you can see on the south side. The closest residential property is about 90 meters from the building, so quite far, 300 feet. And then I think the next slide just kind of shows a little more detail where the backyards that abut our property. Also, there's a 6-meter city utility corridor before we hit our property line. And then the closest point of our building is 21 meters from that edge. The existing zoning would allow us to build this building as close as 12 meters to that property line, that south property line. And we did a comparison if we had built the building to the allowed zoning height of 11 meters. And I think, Ray, that might be showing in the next slide. Yes, so sorry, just to summarize what we're looking for in this variance is an additional 2-meter height for the 3-story office building and 2.3 meters for the accessory structure. But if you look at this image, what we're showing is the residential properties as if you were looking from those properties. The figure in pink shows what is allowed as of right in terms of how close the building could be at 11 meters. The blue shows what we are proposing at 13 meters. So a very slight change in height, but in fact, the visual impact is less with our building because it's pushed back significantly further than what is permitted in the existing zoning. And Ray, I think, is that the last slide or do we have one? Oh, we also did a shadow study looking at the requested 13-meter height. And this is taken at the March equinox, March 21st. And you can see that there are no impacts on surrounding properties with this height of building. And that, I think, is our final slide. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Janice, would you like to give us our planning highlights, please?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. So this application is D13-2404. It's an application for minor variance for lots 3 and 4, plan 23M974. This project received site plan control to build a 3-story office building and accessory structure on this property. The applicant is seeking relief from building height and accessory building height provisions in the city's zoning bylaw to meet the mechanical and spatial needs of the building. Specifically, the application is seeking relief from section 3.34.1 B8, which requires a maximum accessory building height of 7 meters, and section 4.10.31, which requires a maximum building height of 11 meters. The requested relief is to increase the maximum accessory building height by 2.3 meters, to permit an accessory structure of 9.3 meters, and to increase the maximum building height by 2 meters to permit an office building of 13 meters. So this application was circulated to city staff, outside agencies, and the public. No comments of concern were received through the circulation. The subject property is designated industrial development area in the city of Kenora official plan, and light industrial and general commercial in the city's zoning bylaw. Right. The application is supported by both the provincial policy statement, which indicates that directs opportunities for a diversified economic base shall be promoted, and indicates that sites for employment uses which support a wide range of economic activities and auxiliary uses shall be promoted. Does the variance maintain the intent of the official plan? Our analysis indicates yes, as in accordance with section 2.2.4. This application fosters a partnership with First Nations, Métis, or Grand Council Treaty Number 3 to identify economic development and other opportunities. It also satisfies section 4.5 of the OP, which states that the Abbotsford mill site would provide an opportunity for adaptive reuse and an opportunity for mixed use. This application is proposed to be used for employment uses and is supported by these policies. Does the variance maintain the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw? Offices are permitted use in both the GC and ML zone respectively. The proposal meets all other requirements of the zoning bylaw. And as Mr. Brook much more eloquently described how the setback when viewed from the adjacent property, because of these buildings are greater setback than what is permitted, a minimum identified in the zoning bylaw, the perceived height from standing back at adjacent properties appears to have minimal or little or no impact. So what the department is proposing is that we approve this variance subject to modified setback requirements. These setback requirements that we are suggesting are less than the setbacks that are proposed and approved in the site plan control agreement. That was done on purpose. If for some reason during the construction process, the building has to shift slightly or there are changes, that the site plan control document can be modified slightly without coming back to PAC for changing of this variance. So it gives us a little bit more flexibility while still maintaining that the building be set back at such a rate that it would lessen the impact on adjacent properties. So is the application desirable or appropriate development? The proposed variance will enable the construction of a 3-story office building, which will serve as a new headquarters for the Grand Council Treaty 3. The land is currently vacant and the proposed development would bring adaptive reuse of the lands. Is the variance minor? The proposed variances are not expected to have a significant impact on the surrounding area, nor will it impact the ability of adjacent neighbors to utilize their properties for permitted uses. The variance is therefore considered minor in nature and impact. The department's recommendation is that the minor variance application D13-2404 to seek relief from City of Kenora Bylaw 101/2015, section 3.34.1B8 and section 4.10.3 be approved to allow an accessory building 9.3 meters in height and a 3-story office building 13 meters in height, subject to the following condition: that the proposed office building and accessory structure be constructed within the attached building envelope to the satisfaction of the city. I just want to point out that the original report that was circulated both to the applicant and included in the PAC meeting included a second condition that the approval would expire after 18 months. This is something that the Planning Act allows, but at this point, we're not recommending for this application. It is something that we will bring back to PAC for consideration and discussion at a future meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to add or comment on after Janice's report?
Are you speaking to me?
Sorry.
Yes, yeah. No, I don't have anything to add. Thank you.
Committee, any questions or comments?
Just a question, what is the accessory building going to be used for?
So one of the kind of key functions of this Grand Council Treaty 3 is distributing supplies to member communities around the region. So for instance, they may have during a wildfire event, they have a series of items that are the community needs for that, like things like air filters, for instance, that they stockpile, and then will actually drive those. Somebody from the community will come to Kenora, pick them up, and drive them. So it takes up a lot of space, but space that does not need to be in a kind of Class A office environment. So it's primarily for that function. It's kind of a little warehouse of supplies for the different communities.
Okay. Anything else? No? Anybody else?
I just want to comment that I appreciate the effort that the architect has made to provide the really good drawings and convey the sightlines, and I really appreciate that. It makes it easy for us to understand. And I'm really looking forward to seeing this building built in our community.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Brooks. Is there anybody from the public who wishes to speak in favor or in opposition to this application? No. All right, Melissa, would you mind reading the resolution, please?
Certainly. The decision reading that application D13-2404 to seek relief from the City of Kenora bylaw 101-2015, section 3.341B8 and 4.10.31 to allow an accessory building 9.3 meters in height and a 3-story office building 13 meters in height is approved and subject to the following conditions. 1, that the proposed office building and accessory structure be constructed within the building envelope as identified in the planning report and to the satisfaction of the City of Kenora.
Okay. May I have a mover, please? Eric Plunk, and seconder, please. Robert Bowman. Any discussion or comment? Oh, all right, so all in favor, please? That's unanimous. Thanks for your presentation tonight.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Brooke. That is a carried decision. It is subject to a 20-day appeal period, which takes us to June 5th. We will be reflecting this in that site plan control agreement, and then you will be eligible for permitting thereafter. So we look forward to working with you on this file.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your consideration and your time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so the next one is an application for land division D10-2407 Reynolds. And I believe Ms. Wheatley is here to represent that application. Is that correct?
I am, thank you. Now, is it possible to pull up the sketch I sent last minute this afternoon?
Certainly. Can you see that?
Perfect.
Do you see it? Because we don't.
Oh no, you have to click on the next tab.
Do you see it? There's,
You're on the post attendee Zoom tab.
I know. Here, let's get at it. It's because I'm doing share window, not share screen. Bear with me here. All right. uno momento. I promise we will get this for you. Okay, wait 1 second here, Laura. It's a me problem, not a you. All right, there you go. Can you see it now, Laura?
No,
You can't?
no,
We
still on
can.
the Zoom screen. As long, if everyone else can see it, then that's fine. I'm,
All right, are you able to see it now, Laura?
no.
Are any other members on the call able to see it? Okay, let me stop sharing that and we will try again.
No, I'm unable to see it.
Well, we were. So my apologies to everyone. We will change that. Are you able to see it now?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll keep my presentation brief because the report is very straightforward and this is a fairly straightforward matter as well. But essentially the purpose of this consent application is for a lot addition to rectify a driveway and fence encroachment. So here you'll see two properties, lot 2 and lot 3. The driveway and the fence of lot 2 intermittently weaves back and forth over the lot line of lot 3. And as a result of that, we are going to, well, we're proposing to sever about a 2-meter strip of land that will taper to the very front of the property on Black Sturgeon. So there'll be no reduced frontage. And we're going to add that 2-meter strip of land to lot 2's property and merge them together. So making lot 2 a little bit bigger and then also making sure that those improvements, the driveway and the fence, are moved solely onto lot 2. And that's basically the gist of the application. So I'll let Janice deliver her report, and if there's any further questions, then I'll be happy to answer them.
Probably not a lot to add.
Not a lot to add. Thank you. This is an application for consent for land division, file D10-2407. The property located at 6 Lawton Drive. The application proposes to sever a strip of land from lot 3, plan 23M869, which is 6 Lawton Drive, and merge it with the abutting property, lot 2, plan 23M869. Approximately 2 hectares or 0.05 acres of land is to be severed and conveyed to the owners of lot 2. The proposal will rectify the encroachment of an existing gravel driveway and fence. The retained lot is approximately 1.6 hectares in size, or 2.62 acres. The subject property is located on Lawton Drive. It has frontage on Black Sturgeon Lake and is used for seasonal recreation purposes. Contains a single detached dwelling. There is no additional development proposed with this lot addition. There are no changes to access proposed for both the retained and abutting property. The subject property is serviced by private on-site services. So as Ms. Leatley explained, this is the land that's being severed is 2 meters at the road and tapers so that the frontage on Black Sturgeon remains the same. The application is consistent with provincial policy statement. The section 53(1) of the Planning Act, it conforms with section 51 part 24 of the Planning Act, as well as section 4.8 of the City of Kenora official plan, complies with the zoning bylaw. And there have been no unresolved objections or concerns raised from agencies or the public. The lot addition increases the size of the resulting lot. Let's see. When we did our zoning review, the retained lot, even after the removal of this part of land, is consistent with current zoning. The merged lot is an existing non-conforming lot. So the the addition of property to this lot increases its size and makes it closer to conforming with our zoning bylaw. No variances are required to increase the size of a lawfully non-conforming lot. So the department's recommendation is that the Planning Advisory Committee approve this consent application and grant conditional consent approval with the following conditions. 1, the conditions imposed must be met within 2 years of the date of notice of the decision as required by Section 53, Part 41 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990 as amended. If conditions are not fulfilled as prescribed within 2 years, the application shall be deemed to be refused. Provided the conditions are fulfilled within 2 years, the application is valid for 3 years from the date of notice of decision. Condition 2, provide to the satisfaction of the city a survey showing the lot lines of the severed parcel and a reference plan based on approved surveys. Number 3, that 3 original copies and 1 PDF copy of the reference plan of survey bearing the land registry office registration number and signatures as evidence of deposit therein and illustrating the parts to which the consent approval relates, which must show in general the same area and dimensions as the sketch forming part of the application be provided. 4, where a violation of any city zoning bylaw is evident, the appropriate minor variance or rezoning be obtained to the satisfaction of the city. 5, that the newly created parcel be consolidated on title with the adjacent lot identified as Lot 2, Plan 23M 869, and if recommended on solicitor review, that a merger agreement be entered into. 6, that the payment of any outstanding taxes, including penalties and interest, and any local improvement charges, if applicable, shall be paid to the city of Kenora. 7, the original executed transfer deed of land form, a duplicate original and 1 photocopy for city records be provided for each parcel. 8, that a schedule to the transfer deed of land form on which is set out the entire legal descriptions of the pins in question and containing the names of the parties indicated on page 1 of the transfer deed of land form be provided for each parcel. And finally, that prior to endorsement of the deeds, the secretary treasurer shall receive a letter from the owner or the owner's agent solicitor confirming that conditions 1 through 5 have been fulfilled. Clearance from the city of Kenora and external agencies are required to be included.
Thank you. Ms. Wheatley, any comments after that?
No, thank you.
Any questions from me? Yeah, I have one. The zoning condition where violation of city zoning bylaw is evidence, that number 5 is why we need that.
From what we have seen, we don't need that. It is just something that if it was to come up, it's there. It's a
So
standard.
is it going to be a new standard in every application then, do you think?
That is the intent.
Okay, good. And then number 9, should it be conditions 1 through 8 or 1 through 6?
1 through 8.
Okay, 1 through 8, okay. Perfect, thank you.
I'll make that amendment.
Thanks. Okay, so any members of the public here to speak either in favor or against this application? No? All right, would you mind reading just the new
can do that,
condition?
right.
Maybe is that okay with everybody? Yeah.
Okay, so that application D10-2407 for consent lot addition to sever approximately 0.02 hectares of land from pin 42134-0031, civic address 6 Lawton Drive, and merge it with pin 42134-0030, civic address 981 Ritchie Road, City of Kenora is hereby approved and provisional consent is granted, subject to those conditions read within the planning report. The amendment being on condition number 9, that prior to endorsement of the deeds, the secretary treasurer shall receive a letter from the owner or the owner's agent / solicitor confirming that conditions 1 through 8 have been fulfilled.
Thank you. May I have a mover, please? Robert Pullman, seconder Carrot Funk, and any comments? Vote, all right, so can we have a vote then, please? All in favor? It's unanimously carried.
You, that is carried, Ms. Wheatley. We are subject to that 20-day appeal period. Notice will be provided to you tomorrow. That will take us to June 5th. And thank you for your presentation.
Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, the next application is under old business, application D 10-2308, Hidden Trail. This is for a change in condition. So is there anybody going to speak to that, this application?
So go ahead. I see they've unmuted.
Oh, hi. I was just going to say, I was hoping to defer to Melissa explaining this because you will do it far more eloquently than I will, but we're here for
Yeah.
questions.
No,
Okay, thank you.
And that is fine. I will defer it to Janice Michaela, who will provide just a high level report for the committee.
Thank you. Application for consent file D 10-2308, 41 Hidden Trail Road. And the 17th, on October 17th, 2023, the Planning Advisory Committee gave consideration to the application for consent. The committee gave provisional approval subject to the conditions outlined in the decision, which are attached to my report, Schedule A. The Planning Advisory Committee implemented condition number 6 that cash equivalent of 5% of land based on the current value assessed be provided as required under the City of Kenora Official Plan 2015 Policy 8.11.4E. At that time, the city had not yet passed its parkland dedication bylaw, and which was subsequently passed on December 20th, 2023, to enable parkland dedication or cash in lieu is required for all subdivision of property. Because of that, because the bylaw had yet to be passed, it was inappropriate for us to include that as a condition of subdivision approval. So our recommendation is to change the decision of application for consent for file number D 10-2308 by removing condition number 6, that the cash equivalent of 5% of land based on the current value assessment be provided as required under City of Kenora Official Plan 2015 Policy 8.11.4E. Be approved pursuant subject to subsection 5323 of the Planning Act, and that the change is deemed minor per section 5326.
Okay, thank you. So does Hidden Trail have any comment then or questions?
I don't think we have any. I think we understand, but we're here to answer any questions if you have questions of us.
Yeah.
Committee, any questions? No, all right. And there's nobody here from the public, I don't think, who wishes to speak either for or against this application. I do have to ask that question though. Yeah, all righty. So you want to just read what we're taking out then and as part of the resolution?
Certainly. So the resolution reads just as the city planner read it in her recommendation. And so the recommendation is that we remove condition number 6. There were 13 conditions in this original approval, and we will be striking out condition number 6, that the cash equivalent of 5% of the land based on current value assessment be provided as required under the City of Kenora Official Plan 2015 Policy 8.11.4E. So that will be struck from the original decision, which was provisional approval was given on October 17th. There will be no other changes to the other 12 remaining conditions.
Okay, any questions or comments? I have one comment. Should we change the numbers in number 12?
We can certainly amend that if you'd like.
Just so
Yes, so that it says
right,
1
because
through.
I don't think it was quite correct to begin with, so it actually may just stay that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, may I have a mover, please? Careful, seconder, yes. All in favor? Carried.
That is carried.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you to Hidden Trails for being with us here this evening. We are working through satisfying those conditions, so we look forward to working with you. And I will provide communication to you on the notice of this decision tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Do you have the minutes for me to sign?
I will print those.
Okay. All right, so. No new business? No, we heard the new business. So now that we're here, can we just say KRC, we're looking forward to working with you. I can see you. So KRC is Brian Haynes. Yeah. All right. So adjournment, may I have a motion to adjourn, please? Robert Bowman at 6:40. Thanks.
Sweet.
Thank you to everyone on the meeting. We look forward to seeing you next month.
Thank you. Thank you.